Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is December 15th, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see our next storm system out over the Pacific Ocean. It's a fairly robust system, but it's far enough away where it's not going to bring us anything like what we just went through. We had some very intense gusts out there across western Washington, across southwest BC, and especially for some of the coastal areas and the higher terrain. We had a lot of power outages, and we have the big waves out there, and the low pressure kind of exacerbating some of the king tide activity, and that brought some coastal flooding out there. I saw some very interesting roadways covered and some big waves crashing into the shoreline. I saw some coastal erosion, active erosion, as I was out there yesterday as well. And we had some ferry runs being canceled. Whidbey Island, the entire island was out of power, and we had widespread power outages elsewhere as well across southwest BC and some of western Washington. 49 miles per hour at my house. That is a very robust gust as well. 47 officially at SeaTac. So let's dive into things and see what is coming next. So we still have some winter weather advisories. They're going to be expiring here in the next half an hour or so. We have a winter storm watch though. If you click on that, you can see that starts this evening through Tuesday morning. So no rest for the weary across the higher terrain here. We have more snow incoming, and you could see up to 20 inches possible as we go through this evening through Tuesday morning, and generally 3,500 feet and above are where the heaviest precipitation amounts are going to occur. Now, this is Medford, Oregon. They're talking about it as well. Prepare for winter travel above 3,000 feet. This includes the Siskiyous as we go through later tonight into tomorrow morning. You can see Crater Lake and Diamond Lake could see up to 2 feet of snow. This, again, is tonight through Monday. Here we go for Pendleton, Oregon. Winter storm watches are in effect. Higher terrain, 10 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. Tuesday, 6 to 14 inches and maybe some more across the peaks and the crests. They updated here this graphic at 5 a.m. this morning. On top of things, as always, the National Weather Service. Now looking at the North American model, just putting everybody's mind to rest here. We are not expecting big winds with this next system. You can see them approach the coastline as we go through this afternoon and this evening, but they got that southeast component, the low pressure center, and the very robust pressure gradient are well offshore. So you can see a bit of some blustery winds maybe out of the east across some of the Cascades and maybe up the coastlines here as well, but no damaging winds with this next frontal system. And then this low is going to be pinwheeling off the coast. Look at this little interesting mesoscale feature that moving up on Monday night right off the coastline there. Don't worry too much about it, just kind of a curiosity. And then we watch for the next storm systems out there. We're going to remain active. More on that here in a moment. You're going to want to see some of this as we go through the extended forecast. Now, taking a look at the composite reflectivity, this is where we are right about now, about 9 a.m. And you can see the showers are largely wrapping up across the region, but not far behind is the next precipitation band moving across the area. And yeah, mountain snow starts flying here as we go through this evening. You can see maybe the Siskiyous down there start spreading some precipitation in eastern Oregon, eventually eastern Washington as we go through Monday. Interesting snow cutoff line somewhere around I-90. Moses Lake and Ephrata, Wenatchee, Ellensburg could be seeing some light snow at times. Spokane, up towards Chelan as well. More on that here in a moment also. And then you can see that precipitation moving out as we go through the day. Monday, there's that little mesoscale feature continuing some precipitation across western Washington and western Oregon. And then we have additional systems still yet to go as we through this upcoming week. Multiple rounds of precipitation are incoming. So if we take a wider look at things, this is the entire northern Pacific Ocean. Japan to the left, there's Alaska top and center, there's Washington, Oregon to the right. So here goes our next frontal system right there. It's much weaker than what we dealt with yesterday. And then what we're watching for is this system right there. It's going to pack a bit of a punch here with this baroclinic boundary off to our south and west. This system could bring some gusty winds across the region. We're watching that closely. I'll show you the latest on here with that in a moment. But as we go through the extended a little bit here, you can kind of see this jet extension trying to make its way out across the Pacific Ocean, continuing storm activity here across the Gulf of Alaska that will be impacting the Pacific Northwest at times. And if I continue on here, you can see this robust jet stream pointed at North America there for a while as we go out towards the Christmas period. So yeah, looks like an active December. Look at that jet stream. This is at about 30,000 feet all the way across the Pacific Ocean. That's 190 knots, so well up over 200 miles per hour at 30,000 feet. Now, if we take a look here at the European model, so there's that low pressure. It's a fairly strong one, but it is way off the coastline. You see it out there, and it swings this next frontal system at us. That's what's bringing these winter storm watches and whatnot, and the snowfall across the higher terrain as we go through tonight and on in through tomorrow. You can see these lows pinwheeling out here across the Gulf of Alaska. There's another round of precipitation moving in on the day Tuesday, and then we watch this one right here. Again, you can kind of see this pressure gradient back there, and it doesn't take much with these systems And models don't always handle these very well. And sometimes these lows come in deeper and stronger than what is forecast. And the models are in pretty good agreement of some kind of a robust system moving through. Will it be extremely windy, or it'll just be a typical fall bluster? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that, but we're going to be watching that day by day, and I'll show you some of what the weather models are saying here in a moment. Then you can see additional systems pinwheeling out here across the Pacific Ocean, trying to impact the Pacific Northwest. Some fairly deep lows there. We'll see how close those get to our coastline. Now, this is looking at the European model. This is from last night, so there's yesterday's system getting up and out of here. Then our lows pinwheeling off the coastline. There's the frontal system, but then we watch off through Tuesday night, and there it is, a baroclinic boundary hanging back off our coastline there. And again, it doesn't take that deep of a low. It's the pressure gradient we want to watch. And you can see that thing taking a favorable track right across Vancouver Island, maybe into southwest BC, would bring some strong winds again across the region. But we've got a long way to go before we start sounding alarm bells with that system here. You know, these late breaking waves are very difficult to forecast. And this is something for the ultimate weather nerd here. This is ensemble member 26 through 50 for the European. It runs 50 of these. It perturbs each individual member, and it just lets them run out. And you can see, if you look here very closely, if you want to pause this and just kind of look, you can see the baroclinic boundary set up off our coastline. So we have a good agreement some type of a system is coming. And if this low deepens and spins up and takes that favorable track, it could bring some strong winds across the region. But you can see all of these, virtually every single one, has that strong baroclinic boundary. And why do you call it baroclinic? Well, basically it's because you need to go to the clinic. Things are out of balance. You've got a strong pressure gradient. So if you talk about barotropic, you're in the tropics and things are okay. So maybe that makes a little bit more sense there. But yeah, that is the ensemble members 26 through 50. You can also look at 1 through 25 if your heart so desired. Now, taking a look here at the North American model, let's see what it shows. There's the frontal system through tonight, and then we bring some snow east of the mountains. Again, you can see that snow rain cutoff as we go through Monday morning, somewhere right around I-90 there. And then we continue with additional rounds of precipitation. The lows are going to be pinwheeling off the coastline. There's the next kind of a warm frontal system here, it looks like, as we go through Tuesday and then Tuesday night. And then the next system there. And again, you can see that pressure gradient. You got to watch that one right there. That could bring some strong winds across the region if that low comes in a little deeper. That's the one I've been mentioning there. So that's the North American model, the higher resolution version, lower resolution version. That was the one I was showing you, the 12 kilometer. But if we look at the GFS as well, let's see if it shows that system also. So you can see the low pinwheeling off our coastline there, and there it is, that baroclinic boundary moving up towards Vancouver Island. You can see that's a bit of a pressure gradient here. You're talking about 12 millibars just south of Portland up towards Whidbey Island, and then even more as you go up towards southwest BC. So imagine that low coming in a little deeper would create quite some strong winds. And these are the kind of tracks in the systems that can bring these strong winds inland if they do line up right. Now looking at total precipitation, we got a lot of rainfall coming in here as well. So we get a nice break today. It's been a nice morning out there. I shot some time lapses there with the moon passing over the Olympic Mountains. I'll hope to share that at some point. But you can see we get a quarter of an inch out of this next system. Not too big of a deal, but bigger amounts for Seattle anyway. Bigger amounts across Portland, Willamette Valley, coastal ranges here, and some of the Cascades of Oregon. And then we scroll off in towards Tuesday's system. Again, another round of precipitation. Look at that, Seattle up over an inch by the time we get towards Tuesday afternoon. Portland could be up towards 2 inches. Look at some of these amounts across some of the coastal ranges here, saturating things quite nicely. Seattle gets up over 2 inches by Tuesday night, and you can see the precipitation kind of continuing on as we go. This is only 90 hours out, you guys. This is this Wednesday afternoon. So a lot of precipitation incoming, and we have, and what the extended models are showing, we might keep some of this action going all the way towards Christmas. But again, we'll worry about that kind of one system at a time. Now, looking at 100-meter wind speeds, there's the frontal system tonight, kind of putting everybody's mind at rest. We're not looking at damaging winds with this next frontal system. It's rolling in tonight. And then this next one, though, that it rolls in here, you can kind of see that system there picking up these winds again. And again, this because that low pressure doesn't look like much. It's that pressure gradient. So we got to watch for those winds as we go through Tuesday night into Wednesday. And then if you look off into the future, you can see big storms rolling around our coastline. We'll see what track those want to take at a later date in the upcoming days. Now look at Quilliu. So pointing to that Wednesday system, late Tuesday night, Wednesday, look at 55 in the control, and you can kind of see the hit and miss nature of this, and that makes sense. That's what it should look like. But there are some very robust wind gusts in there, some of those up over 60 miles per hour, and the ensemble mean is starting to grow. Astoria, 45 in the latest control, not too big of a deal, but there is the chance for those 50-plus mile-per-hour gusts out there as well. Seattle Tacoma, 44, and I got to remind you, I think the last European there before the last storm, when SeaTac got 47 and got 49 at my house, was at 43, so that's pretty similar wind speeds here as the last round. Not like it was a big windstorm for the interior of Western Washington, Seattle area, I should say the Seattle metro area. But you can see there are some higher gusts in the ensemble members. Bellingham as well, look at that 52, and some gusts showing up over 60 in some of those individual ones, but the mean is a much more realistic low 40s. Portland, this did uptrend a little bit here, and there are some 40-plus gusts. There's even a 50 there, but you can see the ensemble mean is below 30 miles an hour. Now, if we take a look here, put this into motion, and this is the storm system out over the Pacific Ocean. Now, it is going to bring a bump in the waves as you go through the day Tuesday, and then probably keep that going as we go through the day Wednesday as well. But notice this, the storm train really gets rolling out here across the Pacific Ocean, and you can really see those big waves. This is last night's European model run. This is 144 hours out, and you can clearly see the wave action that is out over the Pacific Ocean. We're in getting towards later December here, and that's kind of classic there when you get these jet extensions across Pacific Ocean. And if I show you the jet extension here, this is about 34,000 feet. There's Washington, there's Japan to the far left, there's Alaska to the top, and there's Hawaii right there. So if we put this into motion, this is the system that's coming in tonight. Then we watch for this wave right there moving across Pacific Northwest. That's one I've been talking about in a little bit of detail. And then you can see the jet extensions start to move across the Pacific Ocean a little bit more there. Now, if we take a look at the artificial intelligence, I do want to kind of just point this out that there's our initial system, and we've got that one coming Wednesday, and then the Gulf of Alaska trough just absolutely raging. You can kind of see these systems impacting the Pacific Northwest and some of the West Coast as we go on through the extended forecast. Somebody count all these systems and put it in the comments down below, because it just kind of repeats all the way through the end of December. Now, one way to look at this here for snowfall potential, you don't want to just look at some of these, 10-to-1 ratios or the Kuchera ratio or whatnot. The accumulated positive snow depth change often gives a more realistic look of what to expect. So you can kind of see I-90 runs right around here, and you can see some of that precipitation getting down towards Ritzville and maybe Moses Lake and Ephrata, and better amounts maybe for Chelan here as we go through the day Monday, although it's not showing too much out there, but maybe a couple inches. So kind of interesting look at things there. And the European also has a version of that. If we scroll through here really quick, what to expect on Monday. We're not looking at big snowfall amounts, but you could see an inch, and that could make things slick out there. And again, as you get up across the Cascades and some of the higher terrain, the amounts are going to be more. This is total snow in inches in the National Blended Models. Not bad as well. And kind of on it doesn't look quite as robust as what the NAM and the European were showing here, but you can kind of see the cutoff line right across Adams County there in I-90 North. Now, 6 to 10 day, this is, I believe, the same as I showed yesterday, and we'll look at the 6 to 10 day again. There's the 8 to 14 day, 8 to 14 day again there as well. So we looked at this in last night's video also. Something interesting you can look at here, the CFS is a long-range model here, and this shows valid for December 2024, and that kind of makes sense with what we've been dealing with here and what it looks like in our immediate extended forecast. This ran very late last night. Here's January. You can see a little bit of troughing, maybe some ridging here, maybe a La Nina look, the thing starting to emerge, and then look at Wednesday. Look at that ridging across western Alaska. That's a bit of a La Nina look there also. So a little bit of hope. You can go ahead and go through some of these models and cherry pick some of these seasonal forecasts at times too, but it is kind of nice to see that once in a while. In fact, let's do this and maybe just ruin everything, but we'll take a look at what the previous day showed. That's not bad either. That's a February. That's a La Nina signature right there, folks. You can see the strong north and northwest flow with the troughing here across some portions of maybe Western Canada. But again, this is just purely entertainment at this point. That would be January there, and kind of that ridging look there also, and that troughing down the west coast of North America in December showed something similar. And go off to March if you want there too. And man, that's another La Nina look to it too. You can get snowfall in March across Pacific Northwest into the lower elevations at times. Taking a look at the drought monitor here. Yeah, not too bad. You can see Washington, Oregon, some abnormally dry, a little bit of moderate drought out there, but it does get a bit worse as you get across some of western Montana. There's some severe and extreme drought out there. And something I want to do, because I believe the 12Z European model is running. So let me go ahead and back up here, and let's find the 12Z European model. Where did I put it? Well, we'll just go ahead and do this then, and we're going to jump back to the European, and we're going to go back here, and we're going to go ahead and check out multi-parameter. I just want to kind of see what this event on Wednesday looks like. So here's the frontal system tonight. Again, this is hot off the presses. I have not looked at this at all yet. It just now has been running, and you can see the snow line there across eastern Washington. Additional precipitation ongoing on Tuesday, and another round of mountain snow there for the Cascades of Washington, BC. And then we watch for that system here. And, it's not that strong, but we still have to watch it here, and we'll continue to watch it. But that would bring still a pretty strong frontal system with it here. But as far as one of those potent storms, it's not quite looking like that. We could go ahead and take a look at the surface wind at 100 meters also, and you can kind of see how it will bring some strong winds across some areas potentially here. But if that were to deepen up a bit more and take that track, which we'll continue to watch the next couple of days, that could bring some very strong winds. And you see Seattle there, 100 meters there, 32 knots sustained. But if we take a little bit of a closer look here, and let's go to wind gust swath, and still 43 for Seattle. And you can see some of these gusts up over 55 miles per hour, 53, and there's pretty widespread 50 plus, 55, maybe even up towards 60 for some of the coastal areas here. So again, you could see how that system with that favorable track, if that comes in any deeper, this would start to become an issue. Again, some gusty winds for Tacoma and Olympia. And, it shows some gusts up over 40 for the Willamette Valley as well, and of course the higher terrain. But anyway, we'll worry about that in upcoming days here. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. Otherwise, I hope you guys are having a good day. Seahawks game tonight should be pretty nice here. I think that is in Seattle, right? Let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong on that, but that should be tonight as far as I understand, and weather should be pretty good for that here in Seattle. So anyway, I will do my normal briefing tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.